Hey everybody, this is the LEGO Batman movie, Joker Manor, a set that takes being silly very seriously. Very, very seriously. This instruction book weighs just shy of 2 pounds and is 451 pages. The size of the completed build is significant, though definitely not peerless. Also, though the main build is very wide, it actually is very lacking in depth. There's not a lot of thickness to the whole thing. It's almost a facade, almost. Most of the fun, interesting, usable details are around the back where you get access to the interior, but certainly the most interesting thing in the entire set is the new roller coaster system. This is the first set to be released with these new track pieces, which include 90-degree turns, curved slopes down, curved slopes up, small straight sections, and also a slight elevation change with a curve up and down. The cars that move around that track are a brand new specialized piece, which include guards on the sides to make sure it doesn't come off too easily. They have a nice loose system for connecting multiple cars together, and you can chain those practically infinitely. There's just a lot of room for them to move up and down, angle in different ways depending upon how your track is actually set up. So you get 3 of those here. 2 of them are built the same. 1 of them is built just slightly different, just for the looks. And on the undersides of these, they've got a brand new train wheel axle unit. Let me just pull this off entirely. It'll just snap out from between the center. And there you see the 2 little axles. Runs on a 4-stud wide base, essentially. And these are pretty smooth. They have pretty good material design that's used here so that you don't need to use any oil or lubrication. They're kind of loose, but they spin very well. With the full loop of track as they have it set up, it'll go about 2/3 of the distance with just a little boost. Once it gets to one of the hills, of course, you have to lift it up manually. I feel like there's a fair amount of potential with this system, but they're definitely going to have to come up with a powered lift mechanism with a new specialized type of track to make it reliably just run on its own. Now ultimately what this very purple track goes around is a very gray Wayne Manor that Joker has modified. Ultimately, a lot of the building you do in this over 3,400 piece set is actually fairly repetitive and bland to create that manor beneath there. But unfortunately, the set was not designed to be rebuilt as just a plain manor, which I think would have had some very strong collectability just by itself in an alternate form. Obviously, quite a lot of the pieces are there and a lot of the work is done to create the Wayne Manor beneath, but a lot of the Joker specific stuff is really integrated into the structure for stability and durability. Speaking of Joker specific stuff, how about this grand colorful entranceway complete with a couple of comically oversized cherry bombs with nice builds for their little fuses. And one of the set's few real action features with these comically oversized boxing gloves that come out on scissor linkages. Those are activated by turning a knob on the back of the structure. And there are so many gears used in that mechanism it almost looks like a clock inside. The big sign out front was actually a pretty fun build with building in multiple directions and several sub-assemblies that are attached to the frame. These are 3 stickers used here on 1x4 by 2/3 curved pieces. This is 1 sticker here, and the rest of it is all just genuine builds. You can also rotate this from side to side if you want and actually get it to stick in that position as well. The whole thing is mounted to a pretty tall, kind of jester hand puppet looking tower with a large eye at the top. It's kind of like the Joker version of the Eye of Sauron, and you can turn that from side to side and also up and down. To show you the interior details from the back, I'm going to start you here, and then we're going to go clockwise down to the first floor through the lobby to the kitchen, and then up on this side and end with the attic and the tower. First of all, here are a couple of new pictures that the Joker has put up, and keep those in mind for later. On the right, this is a really miniaturized version of Bruce Wayne's personal theater space. It has curtains over the window, and on one armrest of the seating for one is a bowl of popcorn. Up above you can see the RGB light lenses of the projector, and on the other armrest is actually a printed piece. This is supposed to represent a DVD or Blu-ray for Forever Sorting 2, the sequel to Forever Sorting, which was a movie that was listed in the Palace Cinema set. There was a big poster for it. On the ground floor is a white marble bust and also a really nice small-scaled build for a grand piano that is presently open. And then over to the side here is a fireplace which uses a sticker behind it to make it look a little bit more deep and also bright. The lobby has an interesting feature with a brand new panel piece that's a 1x4x6, so the size and shape of a door, except it has a double curved surface to it, and onto each of those, there are 4 in total, 2 on this side, 2 on the other, onto each of those is attached a chrome coated kind of mirrored sticker, so you get that wacky mirror kind of style, but unfortunately you have this purple track here from the roller coaster that makes it difficult to even access that space in there. Fortunately, you can turn at least the innermost doors, the ones that are farthest away from you, so you can start to see how that actually works, but they don't give you a lot of space to actually put minifigs in there. In the center of the entranceway there's enough space, but it's just difficult to get your hands actually in there. I mean, I can kind of, reduce the cross section of my hand so they're not huge, but it's still just not convenient to access that. Yes, of course, smaller, younger hands can fit in there more easily, but it still feels like an undesirable and unwanted impediment to play and display. On the topic of the roller coaster track, this is where you get on and off and also control the thing, supposedly. So let's move on to the kitchen, featured in one of the more memorable scenes in the early part of the movie, including this very nice microwave build here with a door that can be opened, has a single sticker for the control panel on the side. There's enough space in there to put in a plate with lobster thermidor and also a slice of lemon, but this is another place where access is difficult, not only because of the roller coaster tracks here, but also just the size of the thing. It's very difficult to actually put the plate in there without it being on its side, and getting it out is another thing entirely. As for the rest of the kitchen, this thing again. If you get down really low, then you can actually see at least the counter back there, including the cutting board that has the lemon being sliced up, and down on the floor over here is a coffee cup that's been spilled on the ground. There's actually ample space to pose figures over here on the right side around the microwave and closer to you, but as you start to move towards the left, you get pinched in by the roller coaster track and also the floor up above. So if you want to put anybody over here kind of interacting with the countertop, then you have to do some extra finger gymnastics, helps to use 2 hands, and again, just inconvenient. That floor above features a very cramped and minimized but nice looking recording studio with the fully custom built chair there that can be rotated around on the 2x2 jumper that it's on top of. You got a mic stand there and this pretty cool desk with the computer and mixing board set up on it, including a couple of speakers that have been set up there, and they use a single sticker for the computer screen itself, and you can see that some editing is being done. Along the wall over here is glam metal Batman's axe, as well as a printed record in the middle, and then they use a sticker for the photo up top. On the floor above that is the indoor pool, which is really small here, but it looks like it could be nice and bright and classy. It's actually very dark, even with a lot of light in the studio here. You get this huge area of shadow unless you just use a flashlight from the side, so you're not able to really get that refreshing and bright, glistening water kind of look in this place. In that way, it's actually kind of realistic to the way old indoor pools used to be. They just didn't have a lot of light in them, even with all the nice bright tile work and everything that was done. So realistic in that way, probably unintentionally. It looks a little bit like a dungeon pool to me. Above that is a small attic space with some storage for some extra Bat merch and also the belongings of Wild Style there, so a little bit of reference to the original Lego movie. And in the top part of the roof is a bat hanging upside down. You'll see one of those on the other side as well. This middle space above the lobby has a brick-built Joker head, which actually has some nice building techniques used and some nice pieces, including the new light yellow 1x1 half-round tile. And then the eyes have printed 1x1 round pieces. They use the relatively new fender pieces up above, and there's a lot of jumpering involved in this build, as well as some studs on the side construction. Above all that is the entrance to the Joker's Joke Slide. It has a trapdoor. You just pull this green disc in the front and down you go. Yeah, it's too bad there's no place for you to land whatsoever, not even something as a joke or kind of a trap. Now along this ledge you have a little bit more storage. Over here you get the evil plans. It says Batman do not open. Man, they use a lot of 2x3 tiles in this set. You open this up, more tiles, that's all. But the other storage box here has stuff that's more interesting in it. Again, not for Batman. It says jokes inside. Open this up. This actually has a couple of the old original photos that were taken down from the first floor and since replaced. So there's one, again on a 2x3 tile, and there's the other, Bruce Wayne's family photo. And that's it. You've now seen the interior, so let's check out the figures. So here's the star of this show, the Joker, in both his end credits version, also known as the disco version, and his more normal, boring, regular, uncreative, plain version on the right. Guess which one I like better out of the two? Well, at least as far as exclusivity is concerned, and I don't know, there's definitely some Andy Samberg kind of rapper look to the one on the left. There's just a certain type of humor behind that, I think is pretty cool, and I think it's a collectible figure. I think that it's a memorable figure. It's good to get both versions in one set. Probably would have been disappointing to not have just a normal Joker to go with this sort of, fun land, fun house sort of structure. But yeah, getting both of these is great, one on the left especially. And each of these has an alternate face, so there's a better look at the full print that you get on that first face, and here are the others as well. And I think that both of these work out pretty well. I think I may even like this one better for the disco version. Not to be left out of the party, we get the end credit or disco versions of Batman, Robin, and Batgirl in this set. And each of these has the double-sided twin finish cape, so you get that nice, shiny, almost chrome metallic finish on one side, and it's just plain cloth on the other. The result of that double finish is that these have a little less crinkliness than the traditional styles of capes. Just the material on the inside helps to hold it together, gives it a little more flexibility, just works a little bit better. Just in general for posing, it doesn't pick up wrinkles quite as easily. I think that of these three, Robin is the most interesting, the most comical. That's kind of the standout between them, just because of how funny his outfit is with the shorts and everything. There's not much to see from the back without taking stuff off. Capes removed, you can see there was a lot of print actually on the backs of each of these torsos. It's a shame that most of the time you don't get to see that. It's a lot of sparkly, bright metallic silver, and also the metallic gold that's printed on there. Alternate faces for each, and also the nice arm printing for Batwoman. I do believe I had her belt on upside down at first, which is totally the end of the world as we know it, but I have corrected it, so the world gets to come back into existence now, and there's nothing to worry about. It's all good. Regular, plain, boring versions of Batman and not Batwoman Barbara Gordon are also included. I think the Barbara Gordon figure is actually pretty cool as well. I like the print, especially on the hips and the leg there. It just flows down very nicely. The torso is done well also, and I do appreciate the little bit of paint application on the hairpiece as well. Batman's Batman. You know, you can never get really too many Batman figures. You know, worst case scenario, you can give one to a friend because everybody likes them. Good printing on the back. This is the newer style of cape here, so that one can just be flipped up pretty easily. And of course, alternate faces for each, and there's what those look like. Here are the first faces without any headgear in the way. The set includes the I Miss the 60s version of Alfred Pennyworth there in the old school Batman costume from the TV show. And on the right is, of course, Harley Quinn, who's very, very well decorated. They're just a little bit off with the paint application on the legs, just where the curve is. Doesn't quite get all the way under there. But I like how much decoration they put onto each of these figures, in addition to the one accessory there with the Harley Quinn exclusive bat piece, not exclusive to this set, but exclusive to her. Good printing around the side of the figure there, around the back. This is the newer style of cloth cape for Alfred Pennyworth here, and notice he also has dual molded legs and just a little bit of print on the back of his torso. Harley Quinn's alternate face is the disappointed or bored expression, and Alfred gets no alternate face because if he did have one, you would see part of it all the time on the back of his head, even with his bald hairpiece on. Bald hairpiece. That's kind of ironic. You know what I mean. And then here's one more unique and exclusive figure, the Lego Batman movie version of Nightwing. Notice that his hood is on slightly askew to one side, which I didn't realize at first. That's pretty funny. And of course, he's got the googly-eyed goggles on. And it's just a funny figure, but I think a good figure. The color there is dark azure, if it's at all confusing on camera or on the video. Has his wings on the back, and this is a very long, extra long version of a cape here, not the standard. So this will kind of follow behind him as a long tail. On the back of the torso there is just a big ol' obvious zipper, and there's his secondary face, and a better look at some of the print that you couldn't see before on the front of the torso. That print, I believe, on the torso is done in just a regular blue, so it's blue on top of the dark azure. It's pretty subtle. And there's a better showing of the actual length of his cape and how far back it goes. Okay, so this is a big, complex flagship set with some nice figures and a handful of nice features. However, I'm not sure the whole thing is worth it. I feel like a lot of the potential is really squandered here. They put a lot of pieces, a lot of complexity into the Wayne Manor part of the build, but it tries to focus more on the whole, on the colorful Joker stuff and the tricks and the gags and the jokes. Those gags and jokes, though, are either not very accessible, except for the main roller coaster, or are just not very significant, where you don't really get much from them. Plus, I have a real major problem with the lack of floor space to pose your figures around this thing. There's not really that much you can do with your great figures on this thing beyond putting them on the roller coaster and pushing that around manually, throwing one into the top of the tower and just watching it go down the Joker slide and land somewhere on your floor or your table somewhere, or very, very, very carefully posing a figure, one figure in each of the rooms, like they're kind of miniature little vignettes. I feel like some people would mostly want to buy this set for its exclusive figures, and that I completely understand. I feel like some other folks will want to get this set mostly for the roller coaster. That I understand as well, but I have to caution there because Lego has created these new pieces. They've already shown that they're going to use them in future sets. I am 100% confident that they will make an actual roller coaster set, if not a series of true roller coaster sets, which will give you better roller coaster action more of those pieces and just a better experience for amusement park type stuff at a lower price. You just have to have a little patience. Some folks will surely see the Wayne Manor inside of this thing and want to build it as a Wayne Manor. However, again, I have to caution you, like I said earlier, there's a lot of Joker stuff that's integrated into this. You're not going to get a Wayne Manor out of this set if you just try to build it without all the colorful stuff. You will need to add in a lot of your own pieces and do some custom designing. So I have trouble figuring out who this is really for, who's going to enjoy this the most. It doesn't, in my opinion, have great long-lasting collectability and display value, unless you just like what it looks like from the front, and that's perfectly fine. But I feel like a set of this size would have been better served as an actual Wayne Manor set or a large, kind of Ultimate Collector Series Arkham Asylum or something like that. If they were going for the play end of things for kids, I think they could have put a lot more play into it and left some of the more serious details of the outer walls of the manor out, simplified that significantly, and given us more space to actually play with the figures. Not to mention including more useful play features, but I would have been okay with just space to play. There's not enough of it here. In all, I feel like this set is absolutely dominated by compromises and severely limited by them in ways that just hold back every possible good aspect of it. It doesn't accomplish any one thing particularly well. In spite of the fact that this is a big major bonanza set that's designed to make you want it whether you can afford it or not, my recommendation would be to find better ways to spend your money. So that's it for my thoughts. I am definitely not a hater, but I am a reviewer, so it is my job to give you both pros and cons and share my positive and negative thoughts on things. If something fails to impress me, doesn't matter how much it costs or how big the box is, I'm going to let you know. So thanks for taking the time to watch the video and listen to one person's opinion. I'll be talking to you again soon, because my next video is on the way.